to Would I Lie to You, the show with tremendous truths and humongous lies. On David Mitchell's team tonight, a man whose TV show is called Richard Bacon's Beer and Pizza Club. Not only is it good fun, but if it comes on TV more than 5 minutes late, you get free garlic bread. It's Richard Bacon! And the man who gave us Touch the Truck, Pets Win prizes and Hole in the Wall, yet still no BAFTA. It's Dale Winton! And on Lee Mack's team tonight, a TV presenter who's so immersed in the culture of horse racing, when she buys a new pair of shoes, it's all she can do to stop herself nailing them on. It's Clare Balding! And a comedian and star of the very realistic Call the Midwife. I didn't watch it myself. I just stayed the other side of the screen and offered encouragement. It's Miranda Hart! And so, we begin with round one, Home Truths, where our panellists each read out a statement from the card in front of them. And to make things harder, they've never seen the card before, so they've got no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Dale is first up tonight.
OK. As a child, rather than sleeping with a comfort blanket or teddy bear, I slept with a potato.
Lee Mack, what do you think?
Was it the same potato, or did you have different potatoes over the years?
Well, that was the problem, because you get attached to a potato. So, when you get attached to a potato, it's rotting a bit, but it's your comfort. It's like your teddy bear's it smells of your old teddy bear, or whatever it happens to be. The potato is my favourite potato, and I used to draw on it.
So it was one potato the whole time?
The actual truth is, it was taken away from me, and I cried and I cried and I cried, but they threw it out. So it took me, like, another 3 or 4 weeks to get used to the new potato.
Dale, did they have names, your potatoes?
No.
You slept with a potato that you didn't even know its name?
Well...
Yes, slag!
Did you hug them? Did you have them close to your face?
I used to put it on the pillow like that, and I used to bash it.
Bash it? Why did you bash it? Is that how you show love, Dale?
What's the bashing?
Well, I used to like the dent it made in the pillow.
Oh, so you'd bash it onto the pillow and then you'd sleep...
And then I would take it out, so that's where you're going to bed later.
Be honest, Dale. Is the truth of this story that your parents would shout through the door, "What are you doing in there?" And you'd say, "Nothing, just bashing the potato"?
You haven't asked me why I stopped, and this is why you'll realise...
Oh, Dale, why did you stop?
Because Mrs. Marks, who was our next-door neighbour, I heard her talking to my mother in the driveway, and I heard Mrs. Marks say to my mother, "Is he still sleeping with a potato?" I think that they've been talking about it, and she probably said to Mrs. Marks, "Did any of your children ever want to sleep with a potato?"
So what are you thinking, Lee?
Miranda.
I sort of want it to be true, because he's so sweet.
Yeah.
I do think the two winning things are that that's where you're going to sleep, and Mrs. Marks.
Well, do you know what?
Is he still
That's the
sleeping
thing.
with...
I think Mrs. Marks exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like Mrs. Marks. Yeah. I like what she represents. She represents the sanity of the street.
And the beauty
Whereas
is...
the Wintons, they're all over the shop.
So what are you going to say, Lee? What's it going to be?
What do you think?
I think
do you think it's true?
I do think it's true.
I think it's true.
All right, I'll go with my team and say that it's true.
You're saying it's true? OK. Dale Winton, the potato in the bed. Was it the truth or was it a lie?
I have slept with many things over the years, because I'm a very old man, but I have never slept with a potato. It's a lie!
Yes, it was a very convincing lie. As a child, Dale didn't sleep with a potato. Richard, you're next.
OK. When I worked in McDonald's, my long-term girlfriend joined the queue to my till, and when she got to the counter, she dumped me.
Lee. Lee.
So So how old were you?
I was 18. I think I was 18.
OK, so you're 18 years old.
How long did you consider a long-term girlfriend to be when you were 18?
Well, she was actually my first girlfriend. Her name was, presumably is, Kate. Not in touch, she could have died. I mean, I don't know. You know, but...
Yeah, look on the bright side.
Kay dumped you. Was she special?
She was.
It's a Special K joke. I'm not explaining it all.
Oh,
Am I allowed to
very
mention Special K, Rob, or do I have to mention crunching on cornflakes?
Well, I think when it comes to breakfast cereals, there is one that stands head and shoulders above all the rest.
So how long was long-term?
2 years. But when you're 18, that's a long-term
Can you
relationship.
remember what she said to you?
I can't actually, Miranda, no. But what made it doubly heartbreaking was I loved that job, and...
What?
Well, you didn't get a sack, did you?
Well, no, but I loved the job, and then she came in and broke my heart at this place that meant so much to me, and that added to the emotional impact of what she said.
What was it about the job that you loved so much?
Let me tell you a fact about this place. This is amazing, right? The regular meat, which is the meat that goes in their signature burger, it goes from frozen to fully cooked in 44 seconds. I found this amazing.
Fascinating. I wonder why she dumped you.
I
think we should get back to the girl.
Well, she got to the front of the queue, she dumped me there and then, and I left my station, didn't serve the other customers, and then I went to the storeroom and I sat on a box of gherkins. And I cried my eyes out.
Oh, that's gherkins for you, though.
Kay put in her order. She puts in her order and says, I would like burger.
Okay.
Kate.
Oh, that changes everything.
What's her name? Kate. Hang on, Richard, what's her name?
Special K joke doesn't work, I didn't want to say anything.
No.
Oh, it's Kate.
Kate.
Yeah. I thought it deserved a bigger laugh.
I wondered why the hell you said it. You're always trying to work it round to crunchy nut. Leave him alone.
I don't. Richard, you be young Richard, OK, at the counter of this fast food outlet.
OK.
David,
yes.
You are a normal customer.
OK.
Dale is Kate.
Oh. Could I please have a fillet o fish, but with no cheese? Hold the cheese, and put the cheese on the chips, please.
But not with cheese and bread.
Excuse me, where are the toilets?
They're actually just next to my till, actually. The door's just about there.
I'll, see you later, Kate.
You got it. Oh, gosh, it's my girlfriend, Kate. Hello, Kate.
Well, I thought I'd come in and see you tonight. I haven't heard from you. What's funny about
Oh, it's Meryl Streep in The Iron Lady.
I'm afraid, Richard, it's over. You're just not my kind of guy.
Oh, beautiful. So what are you thinking, Lee? Does this sound credible to you?
I'm suddenly going truth, and I think he was dumped in a queue at said burger joint.
I find it staggering that he remembers all the facts that he remembers about how long it takes meat to defrost, and yet he cannot remember what she actually said
There's
when
an
she got
answer to
the
that.
front of the queue.
But is he...
The answer to that is he's a man.
So, Lee, what's it going to be? Truth or lie?
Are we going... You're saying lie, Claire? Is that what you're saying?
saying-
Miranda says true.
Yeah.
Go on, I will go with Miranda and say it's true.
You're going to say it's true? OK. Richard Bacon, was that the truth or was it a lie?
That story is true.
Yes, it's true. When Richard worked in a fast food restaurant, his long-term girlfriend joined the queue to his till and dumped him when she got to the counter. And then, to rub salt in the wound, she ordered a Happy Meal. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of Lee's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest. And it's up to David's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guests, Robert and Will. So, Claire, what are Robert and Will to you?
This is Robert and Will. They do my garden, and to avoid the embarrassment of me ever getting them mixed up, I call them both Barry.
OK. Lee, how do you know Robert and Will?
This is Robert and Will. I once used them to convince an audience I could teleport people.
And finally, Miranda, your relationship with Robert and Will?
This is Robert and Will. I was a judge at the Identical Twins of the Year award, and they came third, but we had to disqualify them because it turns out they were two of triplets.
Wow. There we have it. So, Claire's green-fingered Barrys, Lee's teleporting twosome, or Miranda's cheating triplets. David, where'd you begin?
Explain the rationale behind the Identical Twins of the Year awards.
Well, I have to say, when I was asked to come along and judge, I was a little confused, but I think there's a sort of magazine or trade magazine, or it's part, or there was some...
A trade magazine? What's the trade?
Twins!
For the marketing of twins.
Twins.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I've actually heard of the competition, yes. There is a competition to do with twins.
What do they have to do in the competition?
Well, there's the physical look-alike thing, like how much they look alike.
Okay. Right.
And then they also do kind of games like Mr. and Mrs. type games, so it's a personality thing as well.
How did they do? Did they win, or...?
No, they came third, but they were then disqualified.
What? Oh, because of the triplets thing?
Yeah. And we did see a third, but I didn't see it, but apparently there's a third one.
So the triplet turned up to this event?
Yes!
That's not exactly Moscow rules, is it?
The third one was picking them up to take them home. And was seen.
Claire, Robert and Will are your gardeners, and you call them both Barry. Isn't that a bit of sort of an affront to their individuality?
No, because the first time I did it, I said, would you like a cup of tea, Barry, love? And as soon as you put love on the end of it, they're fine with it. They just smiled and a cup of tea, and they were fine. And do you know, a lot of... when sound engineers work a lot on outside broadcasts, they all call each other Percy. They all call each other Purse, and so they call me Purse as well, and I call them Purse, and I called them Barry.
Yeah. Why?
Because they work with so many different people, they can't actually remember everyone's names.
Are you sure they're not trying to mug you?
Purse! Purse!
Those nails, they're very clean for gardeners, aren't they?
Well, I hope they've had a bath before they've come tonight.
No, but they are pristine, beautiful, soft hands. I'm not coming on to you.
Richard, if you want to go and have a look, you can.
Thank you very much. I'd love to do that.
You're not allowed to touch, but you can look. Yeah. Do you want to have a look, Dale? Would you like to?
Not particularly.
Really?
Oh, well, go on then.
I'm now not as attracted to these hands as I once was. There's actually some dirt under the nails.
All right. Don't touch, Dale. Just
Could
look.
you turn them over?
I feel I should have a look as well. Or it'll look unconscientious.
This here looks like it actually... That could be the remnants of soil.
They're not very big, so...
You know what your gardener's hands look like?
I don't know.
Unlike everyone else here, apparently, I don't have a gardener. I know you probably expect I'd have about 9.
What did you think of what you saw there, Richard? How did the hands rate for you?
That's actually really thrown me a little bit now, and I still slightly regret going over there, to be honest.
What did they look like?
Well, from this distance, they're beautiful, pristine, manicured hands, and actually close up, there's some dirt under the nails.
I hope to God these poor fellas are gardeners. They're not, by the way.
Lee.
Yeah.
Now,
You're going to bother going through this one, are you?
what was this particular show? You were trying to pretend to the audience that you were able to teleport people.
Correct.
Was it a stage show or TV show?
Was it a stage show or a TV show?
Oh, that's funny. Are you an interpreter of Dale?
I thought you'd said it. I'd missed it, so I was asking my team captain.
So what's your friend saying, David?
What was it, a stage show or a TV show?
OK. It was a stage show.
And where was it on?
It was on at the Hackney Empire.
And when was it on?
It was on in the mid-90s.
And what was it called?
It was a new act competition for new people, and I thought I'll do a magic trick because it'll impress everyone.
Yeah, make up for the comedy.
Well, you say at the end, I'm sorry, everyone, but I can't teleport.
Talk me through the act. What did you do?
Good.
Magic circle, love. Magic circle.
Right.
Can't tell you anything.
You don't have to tell us.
So, what's the illusion we're supposed to be seeing?
I'm not going to tell you how much it's a magic circle. You're not going to say how you made it look as if you teleported.
Oh, no.
Oh, I see. You're very wise. We'll never...
I'm not giving away my secrets on television.
So go on, Lee. What did you do? You're there on the stage. The
So I'm on
audience
stage,
are enwrapped.
So I come on and I bring someone out of the audience and then I put them in a box at one side of the stage, or in a cupboard, actually. I put them in a cupboard. And then I do a bit of the showbiz magic.
Yeah.
Said a few words, not remember now. Might have been Alakazam. And then the other side, and then I open up a box, and out comes the first person who's gone in. Out the other. Well, it looks like that.
Yeah.
But clearly he's already in the box. And he sits down, and the audience give me a big round of applause. So that's actually quite good. And he goes and sits down in the seat.
So you've done the teleport thing. Then what do you do?
Straight into the levitation. I'm not an idiot.
Actually, as a technique for a magic trick and trying to make it look as though someone's magicked across the room, it's actually quite clever using identical twins.
Do you still do it in the act,
Hey,
though?
don't tell me. Tell the judges that night.
Well, how did you do?
Awful. Came third. Turns out I was a triplet.
Right, we need an answer. So, David's team. Are Robert and Will Claire's green-fingered Barrys, Lee's teleporting twosome, or Miranda's cheating triplets?
What do you think, Dale?
I think it's Lee. I think he's telling the truth.
OK, Richard, what about you?
I don't believe Lee, and they had a bit of soil on their hands. I think the gardeners.
David, what about you?
I don't think Lee did a random magic trick at the beginning of his tryout spot at the Hackney Empire in 1995. Maybe he did, but I don't believe it. So I think I agree with Richard. I think it's Claire.
You think it's Claire?
Yeah.
OK, here we go. Robert and Will, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Robert. I'm Will, and Lee tried to convince an audience that he could teleport.
Yes, Lee used Robert and Will to convince an audience he could teleport someone. Thank you very much, Robert and Will. Which brings us to our final round, quick-fire lies. We start with... Lee.
Possession.
Right, there's a box under the desk, Lee. Now, I'd like you to take the item out of the box and hold the object, then read the card out, please.
This is my dibber. I donated it to the British Lawnmower Museum, where it is now a permanent exhibit.
Right. David.
What is a dibber?
What's a dibber? A dibber? That's a good question, David. And would you believe me if I was to say I don't know? But it's a
Yes, I would.
I'll mine it for you.
That's... Yeah.
Could be any of these.
OK, yeah.
It's to do with gardening.
So what does your dibber do?
Pardon?
What does your dibber do?
Are you Fred Flintstone?
Answer the question. What does your dibber do?
Not 100% sure, but at a guess, I would say that a dibber is for pushing holes in the ground.
Yeah.
And then maybe popping something in there, like a seed.
I see. How did your dibber come to be in the British Lawnmower Museum?
I'll tell you, Inspector Morse. Have you ever been to Southport, my hometown?
I have, yes.
Oh, great. Can I start again?
Yes.
Right. I have never been to the British Lawnmower. I was online.
But it is in Southport.
It is in Southport,
Yeah.
that's true. And I did see it online.
What did you put into Google that came up?
Well, you don't want to know that. But I noticed that on the website there was a bit that said the tools of the rich and famous. Famous tools, that's what I typed in.
There is actually, I do know for a fact that there is a British Lawnmower Museum because I myself have donated a trowel.
You haven't.
I have, honestly, Rob. I donated a trowel.
What is this museum?
Surely they want a lawnmower.
So you saw the Lawnmower Museum online.
Online.
With a list of celebrity artefacts.
There was quite a few. There was Brian May from Queen had given a lawnmower. Joe Pasquale had given a strimmer.
So what happened then?
I thought that'd be a nice thing to do, wouldn't it? Because it's my
Sorry,
hometown.
you saw that and you thought, I want a piece of that.
I want a piece of the action. Prince Charles, he gave something.
This is where the story's falling apart, because one is
No, that's not where the story's falling apart.
But one is asked to donate to. You don't.
I wanted to donate something. I thought it'd be quite nice to have something of mine, because it's my hometown.
So you picked up the phone?
I picked up the... You're still doubting my abilities, are you, Dave?
It's not... It is not your ability to make a phone call.
I made the phone!
Are you seriously saying that the fact that you could have physically made this phone call means I should believe that you did? You say, look, I could have made the call, I'm physically capable, therefore it happened, David, end of story.
I picked up the phone, I phoned them up, I said, I'd like to donate something. They said, what have you got? I said, Dibber.
You knew its name?
Well, actually, yes.
You knew its name, but you didn't know what it was for?
That's actually not true. I said...
So what did you say?
I took advice before the phone call.
From whom?
From who?
From whom?
I'm not doing it if you put an M at the end.
All right. From who?
Thank you. Who's putting the M at the end? Do you know what I mean? No one anymore.
Who
no
did
one.
you take advice from?
I shall tell you.
You found a thing in the shed, you didn't know you owned it, you didn't know what it was. Who did you ask about it?
You want to know from who?
I want to know who you asked about that object in order to find out what it was called.
I shall tell you.
Well, please.
David Tennant, or as I call him, Doctor Who.
You asked... You asked Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Who did you ask?
Tom Baker.
There are 7 billion humans on Earth. Please, let's not eliminate them one by one.
I asked my wife.
So, David, what do you think? Is Lee telling the truth or is he lying to us?
Dale?
I don't believe a word of it.
If it is true, it's one of the best acting performances I think I've ever seen.
Thank you.
You've got
If
out.
it's true.
If it's true.
You think it's true?
No, I do not. No, it's a lie.
OK, David, what are you going to say?
We think it's a lie.
You think it's a lie. OK, Lee, truth or lie?
It is, in fact... true.
Not only is it true, but how exciting is this? We've got a picture. There it is, in situ, at the British Lawnmower Museum. Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it, eh? Just a simple tool who donated his dibber to the British Lawnmower Museum. Next. It's Miranda.
I once embarrassed myself in front of the local vicar at Christmas.
Is that it?
Vague, isn't it?
Is that all we're getting?
Well, no, we can get more. What happened?
Well, it was Christmas, and the vicar had to come round to my aunt and uncle's, where I was having Christmas. The sort of drinks, I think. I went to sit next to him and sat on the edge of a sofa. And as I sort of sat back like that, I broke enormous wind.
And did he say anything?
He sort of... It's here! No, I don't think he did, which is what made it so funny for me.
Why did you go over to sit next to the vicar to start with?
Because I think my sister was there, and I thought, oh no, she's been lumbered with the vicar. And I thought, oh, she might need some conversational help.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Which I sort of provided.
What direction was the vicar at this point?
I don't know if he was down or upwind, but he was involved.
Miranda.
I mean, he can...
You saw his hair move.
I think actually what I did was...
That is a great image.
I think I burst out laughing, did one of those laugh spits.
Laugh spits? So having farted at the man, you then spat on him.
You know when you go... So it was like...
So what do you think, David? What are you going to say?
Miranda, The way you told the story at the beginning, I couldn't work out. You had a lot of pauses in there. Was that for effect, or were you thinking it up as you went along? And I think probably worth it, making it up as you went along. So I think it's probably a lie.
Dale, what do you think?
Miranda is like one of those fabulous people in the world who's uninhibited with no... Am I right? You're kind of like, oh, what the heck, I don't
My
care.
face is a mask.
So you think it's true, you think it's a lie?
Yeah.
I'll say I think it's true.
You think it's true? OK, Miranda. True?
It is actually true.
Yes, it's true. Miranda did embarrass herself in front of the local vicar. Next. Oh, it's me. When I'm in a play, as part of my nightly vocal warm-up, I perform sets of scales in the voice of a chimpanzee.
Okay, will you give us a quick rendition?
Of course. It's just, you just go through the scales as a chimpanzee.
Do you just do this for plays? Because I've been next to you in a dressing room, I think, for a gig, and I didn't hear chimpanzees.
I used to do a singing tape of oh, and then what? That was lovely.
That's lovely.
And la la. That's really is lovely. Don't blow your nose.
Rob, where did you get this from? Who was it? Another celebrity that gave you the idea?
No, it was one night I was doing it, and the other actor said, when I started going, ooh, 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 to just relax, ooh, 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 he said, you sound like a chimpanzee. So then I went, ooh, 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 and I found it really opened up the diaphragm, and it actually worked.
Can you go the other way? Can you go from the high note
That's
down
what
to
Dale
the
was
low?
asking me earlier. Is he angry, Lee? Is he angry?
Well, it's hard to tell what colour his face is, but can you go... Can you go from the high note down...
Oh, excellent.
That is good.
Who was the actor who said you looked like a chimpanzee?
Miranda, you know very well he didn't say I looked like a chimpanzee. You're not going to trip me up like that. It was Kenneth Branagh.
Kenneth Branagh gave you this idea.
He did.
Yeah, laugh it up, Balding.
I know your reaction was to
The reaction was, how preposterous. The man with the breakfast cereal would be in a play with Kenneth Branagh. Yet it was true. So what are you thinking? Mitchell, Winton, Bacon.
I think it's true.
You think it's true?
Do you think it's true?
Oh,
Dan?
absolutely. He does it
Yeah.
so well.
I think it would sort of help.
Yeah.
What about you? Balding, Mack, Hart.
That sounds a series of illnesses, that. I mean, so... I'm afraid you've got balding Mack heart.
So what are you going to say?
I think he's probably lying.
I think it's true. Imagine
You're
you
saying
and
true,
Branagh
you're
in
saying
the
it's a
wings
lie.
having a right old hoot doing that together.
You say...
No, I'm going to go with
What?
Clare.
You're going to say lie?
Yeah.
You're saying lie? You're saying true?
True.
It is, in fact, a lie.
Well done, Clare Balding.
It's a lie. When I'm in a play, I don't perform sets of scales in the voice of a chimpanzee. Oh, that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show. I can reveal that Lee's team have won by 4 points to 2. But, of course, it's not just a team game. And my individual liar of the week this week is Dale Winton. Yes, Dale Winton, a man who lies so much, I don't know how his wife and 3 children put up with it. Good night. Welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show teeming with tall tales and tantalising truths. On David Mitchell's team tonight, a comedian who once starred in a programme to find the world's most dangerous road. Turns out it's the one between Snappy Snaps and George Michael's house. It's Rod Gilbert! And a comedy actress currently on our screens in Miranda, who also co-created Smack the Pony, a sketch show that received critical acclaim, Emmy Awards and a stern letter from the RSPCA. It's Sally Phillips. And on Lee Mack's team tonight, a showbiz legend whose TV show once drew an audience of 15 million people. Admittedly, there were only 2 channels and no remote control. Des O'Connor! And a lady who co-stars with Bruce Forsyth on Strictly Come Dancing, but she's here tonight in her own right, so there'll be no more mention of Brucey. It's nice to see her nice, Tess Daly! So to round 1, Home Truths, where our panellists each read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before, so they've no idea what they'll be faced with, and it's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Des, you're first up tonight.
For 3 days running, I accidentally ate cat food for dinner.
David's team.
Right. So, how did this happen?
It was an accident.
Yes. But it happened for 3 days, so we're looking at 9 meals.
Now, I didn't eat every meal, but I ate on one of the meals, one at lunchtime, one at snack, and one at dinner, but not necessarily in that order.
And I'm assuming you thought the cat food was something else?
Why would you assume that?
Well, because otherwise, Des, it's not an accident.
Was it wet or dry cat food?
I'm not a cat, I don't know.
No, but as a highly evolved mammal, you do know the difference between wet and dry.
It depends what we're talking about.
Des, have you got a cat?
No.
There's a chink in this, isn't it? There's a little chink in this.
I would point out that this didn't happen at home, obviously.
Oh, I see. Right. Where did it happen?
Abroad.
Oh.
I was abroad in a foreign country.
Which foreign country, Des?
Which foreign country? I didn't see their flag, but I was...
How did you eventually find out that it was cat food?
I'd rented a place. It was in Spain, right? I'd rented a villa, and I had to go and do my own shopping. And I was walking around and I saw these tins with a little fish on the side, and I thought, well, that'll do. You know, I don't speak Spanish, not that well, anyway. And I brought it back, and I was opening it, and the lady who was doing the house went, no, 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 meow, 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 meow.
What did you think it was, Des?
I thought it was a kind of fish.
Like a tuna, perhaps?
Yes.
I'm surprised there wasn't a picture of a cat on...
Why would there be a picture of cat?
They always have a picture of a cat.
You don't get a picture of a human on a pot noodle, do you?
You always have a picture of a cat on cat food. Always. Even in Spain.
Not always.
Always.
I can give you an example when there wasn't.
What?
Tell him again.
Right, David, what are you going to say? What's your guess here? Is he telling the truth?
Well, I'm beginning to think it's true, I must say. I'm sorry, Des.
I'm coming round to it.
OK, so David...
Yeah, I think it's true.
So, Des, are you telling the truth or telling a lie?
Well, they all think it's the truth, but it's the truth.
Yes, it's true. Des did accidentally eat cat food for dinner for 3 days running. It was his cleaner who first noticed something was wrong, namely that Des was licking himself clean in front of the fire and going to the toilet in a tray. Rod Gilbert, you're next.
I cannot go on airport travellators. The one and only time I did, I got so freaked out by how superhumanly fast I was walking, I had to be taken to the sick bay to calm down.
Lee, what do you think?
Right, I mean, just how fast would you say you were going?
Superhuman was the word I used.
OK, how fast would you define superhuman? Because I've got my own definition.
Have you? Well, what's yours?
I asked you first.
Let's just say it went very fast, I didn't like it.
So you're saying that you were on it, you had to be escorted off, taken to the sick bay?
I wasn't escorted off, I got off the end and then I sought assistance.
You felt nauseous, you
That's right, I felt nauseous.
What's the difference between nauseous and nauseous? David, what's the difference between
Excuse me,
nauseous
you could have asked me. Excuse me.
I'm
a human being.
I'm imagining you'll refer me to David. David, what's the difference between Is it simply pronunciation?
I think it's simply pronunciation, Rob.
Oh,
yes.
OK. Thank you, David. As you were.
Shall I tell you another thing I don't like? It freaks me out when escalators don't work. You know, when you go up an escalator and you get up and you're exhausted and your legs are burning and you walk, they don't work, it's more tiring than the stairs, yet when you get to the top, you still fly off the end like that. That freaks me out. I don't like that feeling of lack of control. The escalator doesn't work, and yet you still fly off the top. Why is that?
I don't think you do fly off the top. I think that's
No, you do fly off the top,
your
David.
brain telling you a
No,
lie.
my brain doesn't tell me anything. Honestly, it does happen.
Rob's brain does not tell him anything.
No.
Is that official, yeah?
What do you mean? It's not my brain telling me I'm
You're
flying off
saying
the
that
end.
we're on at the top of a stationary escalator, you in
Yes.
some way are thrown
Yes.
off the end of it
Yes.
as if it were...
As I described.
That's nothing to do with the electrical motor in the escalator that isn't turned on.
I'm not saying it is.
That's because you're using a certain amount of extra energy in order to go up some stairs,
Yes.
and then suddenly it seems
That.
easy to go on the... Well, you'll find that at the top of a normal flight of stairs.
No, you won't.
Yes, you will.
Nobody flies off the top of a normal stairs. Hang on a minute. Let's have a go, shall we? Let's give it a little go. Oh, you're right, David. Oh, you're right. You're quite right. What are you on about?
What I'm going to tell you now, Rob, you may not be ready to hear. But the feeling of getting to the top of a normal flight of stairs
Is not the same.
and the feeling of getting to the top of an
Rubbish.
escalator that
Rubbish.
is not turned on
Rubbish.
is
Rubbish.
the same.
It's not.
It is the same.
It's not.
It is the
It's
same.
not.
This is madness.
It's not. What you're saying? You started off saying it's
I'm not going to discuss it anymore. I've told you the information. At some point, you will accept it.
Yes.
Rob, you're on this travelator, OK?
I was, yeah.
And you didn't like the fact that you were going so fast. Is that, would that be a fair assessment?
Well, that's exactly what I said, so yes.
Yes. Why didn't you stop walking so you weren't going as fast?
I just don't like the way they kind of bump.
Tell you what.
They kind of shift along. I just don't like that.
Oh, it's the
feeling.
up and down motion.
Well, there's a
Why
little
didn't you-
cushion padding in it, yes.
You could have walked backwards and then you'd been standing still.
Yes, I know, but I had
If you judge the speed right.
All right, but I had a plane to catch, David.
So what do you think, Lee?
Tess, what do you think?
Well, I'm trying to read his body language, because I'm a woman and we do intuition very well. He's very laid back. He seems very committed. I
Very
think
committed,
he might
very
be telling the
confident,
truth.
very laid back.
Yes.
What about you,
I
Des?
just think he's telling the truth.
I think he is.
Thank you, Des.
I think he might be telling the truth.
You're saying true?
Am I?
True.
True. True. Rod, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Of course, Rod can use airport travelators. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. This week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to Lee's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Tony. Welcome, Tony. Rod, what is Tony to you?
This is Tony, and for 5 years he was my badminton doubles partner.
Right. Sally, what is your relationship with Tony?
This is my uncle Tony, and last year I asked to have a go on his mobility scooter, and I drove it into a pond and wrote it off.
Right. Finally, David, how do you know Tony?
This is Tony, and when I was little, he used to help me get to sleep by telling me bedtime stories about the war.
Isn't that lovely? There we are. So, Rod's badminton buddy, Sally's scooterless uncle, or David's bedtime storyteller. Lee, before you start asking, I'm going to bring a chair on for you, and you can have a lovely sit down there. There we are. You relax there. Lee.
Sally, does he use the mobility scooter a lot?
Quite a lot. He's had 2 hip replacements.
So he can get by without the fact that he walked on
Yes.
fine tonight.
Yeah,
is-
sure.
He can get by.
I don't think they're just for old people. You know, I've got a bath with a door. I think it's nice.
That was more a DIY mishap, though, wasn't it?
No, I think it's nice just open the door, step in, wait for 19 or 20 minutes while it slowly fills up in the freezing cold. I think it's lovely.
Why did you take the mobility scooter in the first place?
Because I was going to play a psychopath in a film, or a psychopath on a mobility scooter. And I said, can I have a go? Because I can't drive a car.
Sally, how far did you drive before you went into the pond? What was the distance?
I didn't know I had it in reverse.
So you were very close to the pond?
So I wasn't far from the pond, but it was facing that way.
Right.
And I took it out of park the wrong way and went backwards.
And was your uncle with you at the time?
Yes.
How much instruction did Tony give you before you got on the mobility scooter?
Well, that he thought, as he said afterwards over tea, many, many times, that it was quite self-evident how one drove this thing. He said all it had was it's got a little, gear tiller, and he thought that even a nincompoop...
Backwards or forwards, that's about
Did
it.
you say gear tiller?
Yes, well...
That's a nautical expression.
Yes,
but you obviously felt, on some subconscious level, more comfortable at sea.
Did you buy your Uncle Tony another mobility scooter?
How much was that mobility scooter?
Yes, how much was that mobility scooter?
It was £1,500.
For a brand new mobility scooter?
For a brand new one?
Yes, because it...
Hang on, is that right, Des? Should we move on to Rob?
How long ago were they that you were playing badminton as doubles?
That we were doubles partners?
Yes. How many years ago?
10, 15 years.
You were... and when did this end? When did this end?
We had to stop because I was getting on a bit.
And how did your partnership begin?
Well, we played for the same club.
What was the club called?
It was in West London.
West London, go on.
Yeah,
You can't remember the name of the club?
It was called Old Actonians.
Old Actonians Badminton Club.
Well, yes.
Did you wear the full gear, shorts, and, looking...
No, I wore a miner's helmet and he wore a frogman's outfit. Of course we did, Des.
Did you ever win anything yourself and Tony?
We won a lot, yeah.
And why did you come about playing together then? Why didn't you go for someone, no disrespect to Tony, why didn't you go for someone a bit
Because
more...
we complimented each other's game.
When you say you complimented each other's game, you went, you're good, so are you. Come on.
Out of you two badminton players, Rod, who would you say was the better?
Tony was a much, much better player than me. Tony played for England.
This started out, we were just knocking around in a West London club. Now, he is the Rafael Nadal of badminton.
Why, if he played for England, and he was so good, why is he choosing you to partner him?
I think it would be fair, and Tony wouldn't mind me saying that when I played with him, he'd have been probably I think he was in his early 70s.
Whoa, when you were playing with him?
When I was playing with him, yeah.
OK. The prime age for badminton, particularly international level. OK, David, what's your connection with Tony?
He lived next door when I was little.
And he read your bedtime stories?
He would occasionally babysit for me and my brother, and...
It's feasible.
Made up, or was this was just his stories from the war?
Not out of a book, but ostensibly true.
Did he ever just shout them through the wall?
We're surrounded by Germans, and so, basically...
I'm trying to get to sleep.
I don't care!
How old were you?
I think I would have been...
23.
I think it's around the time I was sort of 5, 6, 7, that sort of...
It could happen. I had another neighbour who would sing me nursery rhymes and bounce me on the knee and...
Am I the only one who had parents? Yeah. What's going on here?
I think perhaps what it was, Lee, with you, is that your parents found it very hard to find any other adult who was willing to take sole responsibility for you. Now, let me ask you this. Would Tony ever come round not for babysitting, but just to tell you some of these stories? Or would it only happen when he was babysitting?
I think it started when he was babysitting, but he'd come round quite a bit anyway with my parents.
David, you just did an upwards inflection. I've never heard you do that before. That's so not like you. Right? Sometimes he would come round anyway. What's happened to you?
I'm on national television. I'm getting a bit defensive about talking about my abuse-ridden childhood. That's all.
4 stories that he told you that helped you go to sleep. Yeah. What would you say was your favourite?
Well, I think the thing that I found most interesting was the story Tony told about his mother, who during the war worked in the library in Oxford.
This is the interesting one.
Yeah. And what she had to do was they had to compile and analyse and place photographs of the Japanese coastline.
I'll tell you what, it's getting better. Carry on.
In preparation for an invasion of Japan.
And you said, thank you, as a 5-year-old. I mean, that's very interesting.
No, because by the end of the story, I was asleep.
It's time for an answer, Lee. So, is Tony...
So I'm still trying to get the idea in my head of just passing David's door and hearing a man in cycling. I mean, obviously, with the coastal line of Tokyo, it's very hard to determine whether we should have a land invasion or by... oh, you're asleep. Oh, OK.
My job is
Nighty-night. Sleep tight. Don't let the Japanese invade.
I think Rod, we can discount. There were too many flaws.
I agree with you. I think it's one of the other two. And I got a horrible feeling that it's David in the middle there.
I know which one David is.
All right, what about the mobility scooter with Sally?
Have you ever taken your driving test?
No, I've never even taken it.
Never learned to drive.
You can't emphasise the word even if it's the same thing. Have you ever taken your driving test? I've not even taken it.
So Lee's team, is Tony Rod's badminton buddy, Sally's scooterless uncle, or David's bedtime storyteller? What are you going to say?
It's not Rod.
It is. Tess, what are you going for?
Sally.
Sally?
I think David.
And in a weird way, I've now gone back to Rod. Thank you. You can see it in his little Welsh eyes.
Well, you're wrong.
In his little devious Welsh eyes. And trust me, if there's one thing I know about working on this show, it's a little devious Welsh eyes. Rod or Sally?
Or Sally?
It's Sally.
Sally?
Yeah, it's Sally.
It's Sally.
Sally, right. Tony, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Tony, and Rod was my badminton partner for 5 years.
Yes, Tony was Rod's badminton doubles partner. Tony, thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Which brings us to our final round, Quickfire Lies, in which our panellists lie not only through their teeth, but also against the clock. And we start with... It's Lee.
Oh. Possession.
Right, well, in that case, step this way and take the card, read the card to us, and then when you've done that, you can reveal your possession.
In Thailand, I paid £200 to have my portrait painted by a monkey. Is that portrait?
All right.
Can I give you that?
David, what do you think?
There you go.
Treasure it.
What colour shirt were you wearing?
You probably want to ask less what colour shirt I was wearing and what colours were available to the monkey at the time.
You don't particularly remember it being green?
No, and I don't remember having 4 green ears either.
And what colours were available to the monkey? Blue, red, green, and its own excrement.
That's my face!
Can I just say, I was recently at a zoo where I was painting with chimps. In the North Wales, in the Colwyn Bay Mountain Zoo in Wales, and I tried to get them to paint stuff, and there's no way that they would have done that well.
I'm not being racist, but that's your Welsh chimp. That's all I'm saying.
How big was the chimp?
Well, let me remember now. He was sort of like this. I'd say he was about that big sat down.
Yeah.
So that plus a couple of chimp's legs.
I honestly don't think that a monkey... There's a sort of mouth on that, and his eyes, there's 2 blue blobs of eyes.
The monkey
monkeys can't do that.
You think it's too good, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the resemblance is too strong. You've even got your little squinty cockeyed eyes.
Don't push your luck. Things I have to put up with on the show. You're wondering why it's like this, OK?
No, I attempted it. I'm not wondering why
It could have been better, but he was a surrealist.
David, what are you going to say? Is this monkey story true?
I think it's a lie. I think it's an absolutely pointless act to get a monkey to paint a picture of you, and I think Lee would also have thought that.
I think Rod thinks it's a lie. We know that. Sally?
Yeah. He looks like a hard man.
Okay.
He wouldn't be easily...
So, David, you're saying lie?
I think we all think it's a lie,
OK.
yeah.
Lee?
I'm sorry, but it feels weird being up and not being able to press something. Do you mind?
Not at all.
It is, in fact, a lie.
Yes, what a surprise. It was a lie. Lee didn't...
It's a lie. How am I supposed to sell that as a truth? Do you know what? I'm glad it's not mine. How am I supposed to have a chance?
My 4-year-old son is watching. Thanks for doing it, and I'll fix it, and I'll bring it home.
And tell him I want me 200 quid back on that monkey suit.
Yes, it was, of course, a lie. Lee didn't pay £200 to have his portrait painted by a monkey in Thailand. I mean, why would a dumb, hairy beast who spends all day throwing his feces at the wall and scratching his bottom want a portrait from a monkey? And next, it's Sally. Out loud, Sally.
Because he swims in our local pool, my husband and I play a game over text called I've Just Been in the Water with Trevor McDonald. I'm currently beating him 3-2.
Well, I mean, it sounds plausible.
Did I have a couple of little blackouts in that sense?
I suppose there might be some people watching who aren't aware of who Sir Trevor McDonald is. He's the esteemed newsreader and journalist, just in case. So there could be some young, you know, people who don't know who he is.
So if you go swimming and Trevor McDonald's in there, you get a point. That's the rules, right?
Yeah.
Do you live near him?
I do live near him.
Do you ever talk to Trevor McDonald?
Not really. I sort of made eye contact with him when we were both buying fireworks once.
You didn't bother playing the game, I've made eye contact with Trevor McDonald in a fireworks, so I didn't catch on.
No, because it's important that he's in the water.
Sally, who saw him first?
My husband saw him first, because I'm quite short-sighted, as you can see.
And was he swimming? Was he swimming?
Yes, he was swimming. And...
And what?
He wears nose clips.
Is he? Are you concerned that he's going to watch this programme and this is now going to be awkward?
It's going to be out. I am a bit concerned. I tell you, the person who'll be really gutted is my dad, who says hello to him in the supermarket. So...
He's got his own game going on with your mum, I think.
My dad's name-dropping Trevor McDonald said hello to, you know, by the onions, and so we started going on better and saying
You live in a very small little village, don't you?
You know this is true, don't you?
Yes, of course. Because we live quite near each other in show business land.
Yes.
There's a swimming pool, a fireworks shop and a supermarket.
It's a lovely place.
Is he a serious swimmer doing laps? You know, he's in there having a serious...
Yeah, it goes up and down.
What do you mean on the spot?
Up and down would signify sinking and desperately trying to... You mean back and forth?
He does lengths. He goes
lengths.
What's his stroke?
You know what
He alternates.
He alternates between what?
Between breaststroke and front crawl.
See,
Which do you prefer?
Which way? I'm afraid I have to do breaststroke.
You're a breaststroker.
I can't get
Well, you've got to keep your head above the water, haven't you, to look out for newsreaders?
So what do you think, then, Lee? What do you think? Is Sally telling the truth?
I think you're making it up. I think it's a fib.
What do you think?
I think it's true.
You think it's true?
Yeah, I think it's true.
Oh, I'll go for true.
You're saying true?
Yes.
OK. Sally Phillips, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Sally and her husband don't play a game over the text called I've Just Been in the Water with Trevor McDonald. Next, it's David.
On a wall in my flat, there is a mysterious red switch. I have no idea what it does because I have never pressed it and refuse to do so.
Right, mysterious red switches. Lee.
Where's the switch?
It's on the wall. Sort of not directly, but slightly behind the television.
Haven't you just had to be tempted to touch it? See what it does?
It's not that distracting. It's, you know, it's bright red. I'd say it's about maybe 3/4 of an inch or an inch wide.
It sounds like one of those cooker switches, doesn't it?
It's a bit like that sort of switch. It's sort of cocked up in a sort of inviting way that you might want to give a tweak
so
to.
It's in an upward position. You'd have to flick it down.
Exactly.
Oh, that's always more scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is your house...
If it were down, I'd assume that whatever it does was happening.
Right, and
I'd be afraid to turn it off.
That would be
because
awful.
I might need it. You know, it might turn the oxygen off.
You've never gone near it? You've never touched it?
Gone near it?
But you've never been
I've gone very near it. I don't live in a very large flat. I can't cordon off a whole area of the living room just because of the proximity of a mysterious switch. I need that space.
How long have you been in your flat and ignored this switch?
Well, I've moved into the flat about 11 years ago.
That's a long time to ignore a switch.
But sometimes I do other things. It's not just been solidly ignoring the switch 24 hours a day.
How is your granddad's dialysis machine going at the moment?
So, Lee, what are you going to say? This mysterious switch, is it true?
I started believing it because I thought, yeah, you do have those switches in your house and you don't know what they're for. I've got them.
But you'd have to flick the switch, wouldn't you?
Oh, I'd have to flick
the switch.
I would be flicking that switch.
You can't not fiddle, can you? It's there, you've got to play with it.
Yes, well, you know...
I remember seeing an episode of this show when David talked about his bedroom door, didn't have a door handle on it. He had to claw his door open every single time he opened his bedroom door.
Yeah.
So therefore, he's not going to bother about a switch.
No, he lives in a slum,
He's going to
doesn't he?
leave the... Yeah, basically, yes, he does.
He lives in a slum.
So I say it's true.
If they paid proper repeat fees on Dave, it would be different.
So, Lee, what are you going to say? Truth or lie?
Des.
He's telling a lie.
You think he's telling a lie?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I don't think he can ignore that. Look at that intelligent face. Look at that beard now. He does look like a professor.
He hasn't got a bedroom door handle, Des.
How do you know?
How do you know?
Because I've watched...
So, truth or lie?
I think I will go with Tess and say it's true.
You're saying it's true. David, truth or lie?
It is true.
Yes!
Yes, it's true. David does have a mysterious red switch on the wall of his flat which he's never pressed. Oh, and that sound signals time is up, and it's the end of the show, and I can reveal that David's team have won by 5 points to 1. But it's not just a team game, and my individual liar of the week this week is Sally Phillips. Yes, Sally Phillips, who's given us more barefaced cheek than a leapfrog competition at a nudist colony. Good night.